What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 311 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined as always by my mainest man, Willie Saylor, via Skype. To my left, Kyle Brackey. To the right, you know him as, well, it depends on where he's traveling that week. Sometimes he's the Fargonaut. Sometimes he's, do you have any other favorites?
Not off the top of my head.
Not off the top of your head. He always has a changing Twitter name, but his name is Andrew Spey in real life, and he's not going to throw a hissy fit that I use his actual name like Nomad would. And he's here because he cracked the code. He figured it out.
We were answering the age-old question, why was 6 afraid of 7?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Right, that was a tease.
Oh, that's a tease. Classic
industry
tease.
term.
Yeah, look it up. Wanted to start with a classic Sandy Stevens correction. This isn't a correction, and honestly, shame on Willie and Kyle for not correcting me in the moment, and for you guys not organically reaching this conclusion. Our Penn State best team ever, it should have clearly gone 74 Ed Ruth, 84 Bo Nickel, 97 Quinton. But you guys let me say Mark Hall, Ed Ruth, Quentin Wright. Shame on all of us.
I don't think that's what we said.
There's a lot of egg on our faces right now.
No, that happened. That happened,
First,
Willie. That
what you said, we voted Mark Hall in?
Mark Hall over Matt Brown. And we kept it moving.
Mark Hall only has 2 years.
Because remember, we were like, Bo Nickel's not on this team right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody did catch it. I think somebody tweeted at us, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
After we completely screwed it up and messed up the best Penn State team.
The egg's on our face.
It's all over us. Scrambled, fried, just egg everywhere. We messed up.
But you manned up and you issued a correction. And
This is a correction.
yeah, that takes a lot.
Yeah,
It does.
it takes a big man to admit that Ed Ruth should be on a team, and Bo Nickel. Also, this is a correction for sure. We were pretty sure that Ben Askren never lifted a weight, and then lo and behold, on FloWrestling.org, there's video of Ben Askren lifting weights. Now, it was 10 years ago. No one said it was a lot of weight, but the man's getting after it. He's lifting weights. Apologies, Ben Askren, a.k.a. Teddy Atlas.
He is. He obviously doesn't look like he lifts a lot, and he doesn't wrestle a style that makes you think that strength is one of his things. But that dude is strong.
Yes.
That dude is. When he touches you, it's like, don't touch me. It hurts.
Yeah, he's a classic. Everyone has that friend, the puncher friend. He's like, hey, but it stinks when it's Ben Askren's the puncher friend guy, and he just like punches you in the ribs. It's like, Ben, you're a professional fighter. You're punching us.
That happened to me. He gave me a playful shoulder tap, and it was like a dead arm. You know, like when you just knuckle right on someone's shoulder muscle.
He's just a nice, playful guy, but then he you know, when he's punch friend, everyone has punch friend. Rarely is punch friend an undefeated MMA fighter / Olympian.
Punch friend.
with mutant strength. Okay, so we I guess it was a couple days ago. What?
Has anybody talked to Nomad though? Is he safe?
So I'm assuming he's safe because I texted him. Now, texting Nomad is about like texting Willie. You're unlikely to get any sort of response. You're probably going to get blown off. It's going to annoy you. Doesn't matter who you are. Could be me. Could be Burroughs. It could be basically anyone, and he will blow them off, as will Willie. So I was like, hey man, 157 tiers, because he said he would do them and put them in the doc. You know, 8 hours goes by, he doesn't hit me back. I'm like, we might have lost him. Then later on in the night, because you know his circadian rhythm's off, he gave me a thumbs up emoji. And get up this morning, there they are, the 157 tiers. So either he is still alive. I believe he's still alive. I believe that's evidence.
You probably found a nice table to crawl under and chill.
Yeah, he did sleep under a table this summer. And
He was chilling.
He
wasn't
hanging.
sleeping.
That
He
was a
hanging
correction
out.
that we were trying to make light of the fact that Nomad slept under a table, and he said, no, I didn't sleep under the table. I was chilling.
Yeah.
So big difference. Apologies to Nomad on that one.
All right. No one more chill than
Hanging out.
than the wrestling
Just
Nomad.
hanging out.
Well, so anyways, we hope that Nomad's having a very fun, prosperous vacation in Baltimore. Pat Downey, if he's there, I think Pat's truck may have been repossessed. Or
What?
something. Something happened. The man. All right, follow don't follow, but definitely follow Pat Downey on Instagram. His story had his truck getting towed.
Oh, no.
Breaking news.
Yeah, and he was in the truck at the time.
You can do that, repossess while he's in it.
Well, he got
It's also called kidnapping, isn't it?
No, he got out and he got a ride. He got a ride from the tow guy.
He escaped.
He
Did
seemed
they
to be
slow
in
down
good
for him at
spirits.
least?
So now it's kind of a role reversal. We're used to Nomad not having a vehicle, but now Pat doesn't. So I hope he helps him out.
What's the odds that Pat Downey, somebody would show up to tow his truck, and Pat Downey just wouldn't kick the crap out of him? Say, next topic.
You're mischaracterizing Pat. I don't think he would. I don't think he would do that. It's all in the game, as it were. Okay, so here's the quick Cliff Notes version of this seeding thing. 6 seeds are outperforming 7 seeds at a consistent level in NCAA wrestling. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you slice and dice it and look at it. But I guess if you want to consider it, this all started, me and Nomad were talking about this new thing we're going to have for the fall, not called bracketology because that is trademarked and copyrighted, but perhaps brackastrology. And we'll get more into that later, but we're talking all about, we want to break down brackets in depth, never seen before. And Nomad brought up the point that we are probably going to see, the NCAA seeding committee is going to seed out basically the top 28 now, and then randomly draw the final 5 guys into the brackets. And then we started talking about, well, should we reseed? Or there's a lot of, not really a lot of questions, but we're just going through all the details of what that might mean. And eventually said, well, some seeds probably outperform other seeds. Like if you look at NCAA basketball brackets, you're better off as the 11th seed if you want to make the Final Four than as an 8 or a 9, because then you got to go through number 1, whereas 11th seed only has to go to through 3. Anyway, so what I did is I took results from the last NCAAs, have my nice little spreadsheet, started nerding around with it, and figured out that if the seeds are accurate reflections of talent level, you'd expect a nice orderly drop from result with every seed. So the number 1 seeds average a 1 or 2 placement. So anyway, the way I looked at it, the way I broke it down is I took a result and I assigned a number value to that. 1 for finishing first, 2 for finishing second. That's obvious. Round of 12 guys get a value of 12, 16, 24, and 32. And then I took every seed since the year 2000 and I calculated the average finish for that seed over each year and then in total. And if you expect seeds to be accurate reflections, as if, if the seeding committee is, doing a reasonable job, which there's no reason to think they're not, then there should be an orderly progression. The number 1 seed averages 1.9, or wait, hold on, let me go. From 2000 to 2018, and we picked those dates because that's how far back my data goes. No, I wasn't trying to game the system or whatever. That's literally just the arbitrarily set extent of the database. So number 1 seeds average a finish of 2.8, meaning some of them finish first. Some people who get number 1 seeds finish lower than that on the podium, but it averages to 2.8 over the last 19 years. Second seed averages 4 placement and all the way down, and you'd expect an orderly drop. But when you get to 6 and 7, 7 seeds average a better placement than 6 seeds. And it doesn't happen every year. And it doesn't happen with every little chunk of years that you look at.
But over time,
the more years that you look at, it flattens out the ups and downs and gives you a consistent picture that 6s do worse than 7s.
Yes.
And so it comes back to that question that we teased earlier. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. No, wrong. Now you have an actual answer. In NCAA brackets,
it's cross bracketing.
Yes,
and then cross bracketing.
Right, and we'll skip to the punchline. It's cross bracketing. So if you just take a blank
NC2A
bracket, NC2A, and you have the double brackets. Now what they do is they cross bracket. So with each successive round, you go to either top or bottom of the consolation bracket. If you lose, to do that to avoid seeing an early rematch in the consolation of a guy you just saw. Now the consequence of that is in the blood round. In here, if you just fill it out with chalk, the 6 seed is likely to see the 9 seed in the blood round, whereas the 7 seed is likely to see the 12 seed. Now, you go, all right, well, that doesn't mean anything. Obviously, it doesn't always go all chalk. It could just be a chance or random occurrence. But the point is, because you can expect that more than, or that is the most likely arrangement over time, those little advantages pushes 7. It basically makes them equal. So it's almost like instead of an 8 and 9 being a toss-up, these guys all finish the same. It shifts that to the 7 and 6 being just about equal, although the 7 does maybe a little bit outperform the 6 when you look at all the data, and then the 8 actually does better than 9. Whereas if there was no consolation bracket, an 8 and 9 would probably be exactly even. But because we have double elimination, cross bracketing, it's the 6 and the 7 that is, you don't have to worry about it in the season.
So NCAA wrestling coaches,
yes,
when you're in your seeding meetings, don't you quibble over to get the 6 instead of the 7.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? We're good here.
You can bank that.
7's fine.
If your guys, if they're fighting over 6 or 7, you go, hey, I'll be the bigger guy. Just go ahead and give my guy the 7. But I expect you to give me a little bit of the benefit of the doubt further down when someone else is getting seeded.
You can look like a great guy and
yeah,
also be self-serving.
And
it's an ideal world.
All that data, I put as much as I could in an article. There's some actually that didn't fit in the article, so my apologies. I'm going to try to figure out a way for everyone to look at it.
We put Spay on a character count. So.
Yeah, there's the table's only so many columns fit in the article, but it's up on the site. It'll be running now or soon.
It's on the site right now. Number 2.
Number 2, check it out. And then by all means, if there's something that got messed up in there or whatever, let me know. But I think it's pretty. I mean, we have the reason. But yeah.
In summation, you threw a lot of stuff out, and you explained it pretty well. But
yeah,
in summation, 7s have been outperforming 6s because. In the Conti side, in the blood round, they draw a 12, right?
7s, yes.
7s draw a 12 and 6 draw the 9. Obviously, 9's a tougher matchup than a 12.
Yes, you would expect.
Were you surprised? I mean, you're good with numbers. Were you surprised, like before you started your research? Did you expect it to be number 1 seeds outperform number 2 seeds, number 2s outperform number 3s, and on down? Because I thought there'd be more variation. I thought there'd be like, 8s and 9s are flip flopped, and
yeah,
7s and 10s are about even. And
so if you just go year by year, like last year, for example, 6s well outperformed 7s. So if you just look at any bracket, you have all sorts of crazy stuff happens, and we all are aware of that. That's what makes the brackets fun. That's why NCAA tournament is so much fun, because you got bracket busters, Cinderella stories, and all that. But I figured over enough time, you get more and more data in there, the seeds should overall, on average, reflect a true talent level, and that should be reflected in the results.
Now,
yeah.
More than anything, this shows that the NCAA wrestling tournament is typically seeded quite well.
Seeded properly, right?
Even down to the anomaly. I guess you could call this an anomaly, or even the thing. It just kind of doesn't really make sense on paper.
Yeah, a little quirk in the way.
This quirk actually validates that it's seeded properly, and that they have a tougher seeded guy. Therefore, they do worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be if you looked at that, and if you just looked at how a bracket went down, and you didn't even look at how the seeds and placements worked out, you would go, "Oh, that's interesting. 7s actually have an easier path to All-American status." And then if it didn't show up then in the data, you'd be like, that is actually odd. But we did it in the other order, so you go, "Oh, there's an oddity here. I wonder why that is." And then you look at your bracket, and you go, a little revelation. But then if you look at, so I also broke down by year, and that was the table that didn't fit in there. But there are all sorts of instances, and maybe I'll figure out how to put this on maybe just a screenshot. But every year there are about 4 or 5 instances where a lower seed will outperform, or a higher seed will outperform the lower seed, which you don't expect. But that is just that is the random fluctuations and variances that you'd expect, or that just happens. That doesn't mean the seeding committee didn't do a good job there. But then when you aggregate more and more data, it smooths out these random variances in your numbers. And as you said, shouts to the seeding committee, because overall, there'll always be things to complain about every year. That's not going to change. But when you look at the big picture, they're definitely doing their job.
Nice.
So shouts to them.
Okay, so that's your daily data that is
Spay's Nerd Corner.
That is not daily, but we'll just call it that, because anytime you can throw some alliteration in there.
Oh, that's wrestling's
That's
favorite thing.
You got to do it.
Wrestling people do.
Yeah,
All wrestling people. I mean, listen,
Agony
wrestling
names.
people-
Agony names, rumble on the rails, grapple in the garden, grapple in the gridiron, everything. Everything's alliterative, or it's night Southern Scuffle.
Battle at the birthplace.
Yes. No one loves alliteration more than wrestling, and we love you guys for it. Okay. As I mentioned previously, the wrestling nomad, while he is eating crab cakes and drinking Natty Bows, no doubt.
I hear that's what Maryland does.
That's what they do. He still put in the 157 tiers, and this will be fun to talk about. I've enjoyed the tier discussion, and I have a couple quibbles, but I think in general, once again, ever since 133, and he had to take a pretty substantial beating there. We bludgeoned him pretty good, but he's been back on the path, and I think he's done a pretty solid job. Where we just have some minor quibbles, no Austin DeSanto behind Austin Gomez type of gaffes. Tier 1, number 1, Jason Nolf. I think we're good here. Yep. Tier 2, Hayden Hidley, Alec Pantelio, Ryan Deacon. Okay. That's a pretty small tier, and I think it's a little presumptuous having... I think Deacon's awesome. I think Pantelio's awesome, but I think there's some guys that could jump into tier 2. So let me get to tier... What?
Yeah, like the guy who took third last year?
Well, here's the thing. All right,
Mainly.
I'll say his name, Tyler Berger, Josh Shields. I will actually defend Tyler Berger in tier 3. Please just look at this man's season. Look at it. Read it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, all down to Big Tens. He had one tournament. And I think you could say, all right, well, he was an All-American before, because I got caught up with Berger all last year. I was just waiting. I was like, I know he's this good. He can definitely turn it around. And like, to the point I kept saying it, and it just did not happen. Until it did at NCAAs, right? So I can actually get with it that, like, man, he had a good tournament for sure. But man, it's really tough to ignore. And Bracky's got his season up. Maybe you could explain some of the lowlights there.
Yeah. Let's see. I got pinned by Kennedy Monday, which was a little odd at the time. It was pretty early.
But he totally
in
should have
the
lost to
season.
him early at Vegas too. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that was
2 losses to Andrew Crone. I mean, honestly,
Sorry,
the rest are fine. I mean, you're a loss to Josh Shields, who's an All-American. A loss to Pantelio. Lost to Hidley. Lost to Pantelio. The 2 losses to Crone.
So Crone
Lost to
and Monday.
Micah.
I will say that CP going into, I brought up the rankings that we did throughout the whole year. He was as low as 12 going into the Big Tens.
Yeah.
So this was a fringe All-American, even though he did All-American the year before, and we all know he's nails. But there were some question marks throughout the season as 57 got, other guys stepped up.
I actually became resigned to the fact that there was, and there may have been, like he was just hurt, or I just don't think, even though, yeah, he only has like a couple losses that really stand out, I felt like he just didn't look Berger-esque. He can beat the Pantelios, he can beat the Micahs, he can beat those guys, and he just wasn't.
Even in his wins, he didn't look.
I think I think that's more what it is, because at CKLV he should have lost first round in Kennedy Monday. Then he beats
This Oklahoma kid.
Romani 7-5 in sudden victory, and then Justin Thomas. We were both Matt's side for that one.
That was crazy.
He was losing by like 3 with like 30 seconds left, forces it to go to overtime with the last second takedown, and then wins in overtime. So he had 2 sudden victory wins with guys that are below him significantly. So I think it was just more how he looked all year than the actual wins and losses.
Started at like 5, made it to 4 after the first couple weeks, but then it was slowly, going down to 8, 11, 10, 12.
Well, guys were getting some good wins, and he just wasn't really able to rebound. Even though he was losing to quality guys toward the end, he wasn't able to climb any. Now, what I'll say, while we're on the Berger topic, is something I asked Willie about. Why would he not go down to 49? If he can make 49, he is unquestionably, in my mind, a title contender if he's at his best. He can 100% win 149 pounds, and it is a fact. He cannot win 157. Really, probably no one can.
Except Nolf.
Except Nolf.
He can.
Nolf can.
They're not going to allow nobody to win.
Yes, that's true. Or they'll cancel it because of Nolf. So I think he should go down. I think they should strongly consider this with him.
They did. It was an idea before last season ended.
It's a great idea.
It was an idea that maybe next year we can adjust the lineup and maybe Berger goes 49. Now, Christian, it surprises me that you were so adamant about this. Like, Berger should go 49. Berger should go 49. I mean, because I'm the guy that always says, yeah, he can make it. But what if he can't make it, like, and be healthy?
Well, then you obviously don't do it. But I've just been told for a while that he's not that big. He could go 49. That's kind of something that I've been told for a while. If that's completely untrue, then it would be really stupid for him to go on 49. But if he can, and you're basically saying that it's a possibility, that at least from a physical standpoint.
No, I'm not saying that he can make 49. I'm saying they thought about it. They talked about it. I don't know if. Who knows? Maybe that's the reason that he's not going 49 is because it's too much of a pool. I don't know.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, but if he could, I think it'd be a good idea, Tyler Berger. Make 49 even that much crazier. So tier 2 is Berger and Shields. Now,
would you put Deacon over Berger and Shields?
So
definitely over Shields.
And
Okay.
Deacon did not All-American, which I think was one of the surprises of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But going back to the last year's rankings, he started at 10-13 as a redshirt freshman. He was up at 5 before the tournament. So going into Big Tens, Deacon was 5 and Berger was 12.
And what
so
were
obviously they had great
His
postseasons,
losses
but-
at NCAAs were Surtis and Sorensen.
Yeah. Well, the search is, yeah.
Well, Deacon was really hurt, right?
4-3 and 4-2.
Wow.
Was he not really banged up at NCAAs?
That would be news to me. I don't
He
know.
did default out of
I-
Big Tens.
I thought he was really hurt.
He looked good in the spring at Akron, but of course, he could have been healthy at that point. I think Deacon's okay there. I think Berger and Deacon may be in a comparable realm. Here's a guy I think's coming up into. There's a couple I think could come up into the tier 2. I think tier 2 and tier 3 are actually the same group, personally. I would put Mekhi Lewis in there.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I was surprised to see him at 57. Didn't he do all his redshirt year
Yeah.
at 65?
Well, yes.
Which is, that's not unheard of. People don't want to cut while they're redshirting. Why not?
So I know he looks really big, but apparently he's just not super heavy. Plus McFadden's there at 65. It just makes more sense for their lineup. McFadden can't go 57 apparently. So I think Mekhi will be fine at 57. I think if he's effective there, if it's no issue, which I'm told it's not going to be a problem, him going 57, I think he is. He can wrestle with Pentelio. He can wrestle with Deacon. You know, if he has 2 or 3 cracks at Hidley, maybe he can get him one time. Those are going to be really close matches, I think. So I expect a great career from Mekhi Lewis. Watch out for him. I would also say keep this ACC train rolling. Kennedy Monday, if he gets a modicum of consistency, his high end, we saw his high end, what it can do. He can beat Joey LaValle, he beat Tyler Berger. What else do you need to say? Well, he's got some really weird losses. If he can be consistent, he's a finalist threat. Okay, he ain't beating Nolf, but he's actually a pretty interesting guy. If he does get consistent, he'll at least make it kind of fun against Nolf. He'll probably get destroyed and ridden into the ground, but
He could catch him in something. Maybe Nolf's gotten taken down
Well,
a
he
couple times. That would electrify the crowd if he gets the first takedown against Nolf.
he's definitely. I could see him like taking down Nolf twice and get up 4-2 and then getting like majored or something. That's within Nolf and that's within Monday.
That's certainly Nolf's can do that.
Yeah, he doesn't care. So those are the guys as I see it that could emerge in there. You know, I love David Carr. I don't think we'll see him this year, so I don't want to throw him in there. And another one we have to mention that that Nomad made note of that it's not in here is Micah Jordan. If we subscribe to the McKenna goes 49, Keyshawn 41, Micah 57, I think he's there in that tier 2 as well, for sure. With Hayden, with Pentelio, with Deacon, we were looking up. I trolled Willie pretty hard Tuesday. I had Willie going because I said if Micah goes 57, he's gonna go down as the best to never win an NCAA title.
Best.
And this is in our little Google chat thing where you can't see my face, obviously. And Willie believed that I believed that. So like was like throwing out all these names and stuff of people who were.
I semi-believe.
No, Willie, you believed it.
I literally wrote in there, like, you don't really believe this. Is somebody saying this? Is this like from a message board and you're just perpetuating it and you're just messing with me?
It was a total joke. Obviously he wouldn't be. But then Kyle and I then we're having fun with it because we're messing with you. We're sitting side by side. We start looking up all of Micah's wins, and he has beaten some monsters. He's beaten Sorensen. He's beaten Kemmer. Berger, I want to say.
Yep.
So he's beaten a lot of really, really good guys. So then
Really fueled that prank.
it really fueled the fire that he may actually be the best to never win a title. And then you're like, he's even better than Bo.
Yeah, and as they're looking up these wins, they're typing them into the chat, and I'm like, that's when I started being like, these guys really think this, maybe.
It was awesome. Never mind your best friend's Brian Snyder, and then he might make that list, but who knows? Okay, so we would put Micah.
Well, I mean,
in that
my
group.
first thought when you said Micah, I was like, but Bo is better. Bo is like his brother.
You're right. That is a fact.
The two best brothers never to win it.
Two best brothers from Ohio to never win it. Okay, I'll read the rest of Tier 4. Mekhi Lewis, David Carr, Mitch Fine-Silver, Paul Fox, Kennedy Monday, John Van Brill, Steve Blyes. I think that's a fair group.
You grimaced with Paul Fox.
Oh, I love him. He's the GOAT.
He's still eligible.
I know. He's
All-American.
Yeah, All-American Paul Fox.
2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah, he's like a bubble guy for a lot of the year based on his wins and losses.
Bubble
but
qualifier.
Then he R12'd.
I know.
Yeah.
The man lives
He
for
loves
March.
the NCAAs.
He lives for March.
Hey, good for him.
And I'll read Tier 5, and then we can discuss further. Xander Wick, Mike D'Angelo, Andrew Shomers, Oklahoma State now. LE3, Larry Early. Caleb Young / Jaron Glosser / Jeremiah Moody / Nelson Brands. Talib Ramani, Gordon Wolf / Ian Brown. Tyler Marinelli, and Hunter Willits. I don't see much movement from Tier 5 to Tier 4. As I mentioned, I could see some Tier 4 guys in the second tier. But I think this is a pretty fair. Are there guys we're missing here that could be impact dudes at 157? Freddie Stroker, I'm going to continue to ride that one. There's no evidence that would suggest Freddie Stroker is going to All-American at NCAAs. But I'm still just going back to literally like high school and redshirt stuff and saying, you know what? I'm just hanging on to that stock. I'm not going to sell it. You can't make me sell it, Willie. I'm sticking with Stroker. I think Stroker could be a guy that emerges as a rankable dude, NCAA qualifier, maybe can crash around to 12.
I don't have any issues with that. There's a lot of guys. Okay, before I make that point, could I have some answers on Xander Wick? Did he miss? How was his year left?
He got hurt in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't finish the year.
I think he made it to Midland. No, or he might have been out before Midlands. I can't exactly recall.
Give you a rundown.
We'll get the rundown from KB.
11-6, just wrestled through CKLV.
That is not very
That was a
long.
meat grinder, that tournament.
So
Lost
losses.
a lot of good men.
Losses.
Seriously.
We lost
Massa got hurt real bad and
Connor
was never
Schramm?
himself again.
Connor Schramm.
Massa.
Yeah.
He screamed so loud, Willie. It was horrifying.
Yeah, and then he threw his headgear almost through one of those partitions that was dividing the place.
It went through it actually.
Yeah, a hole right
Destroyed
through,
it.
like the Kool-Aid man.
Right to the strip.
Who else?
So
Who
he was
else?
12-4 with two losses to Maruka, a loss to Deacon, and Colton McChrystal.
That ain't bad.
No.
No.
Do you have any good wins?
No.
Boom, took him out.
yeah.
He tech fought Jarrett Deegan, who was around
right,
the
so-
12.
Major Deegan.
So within Tier 5, I'm interested in Wick. I'm interested in Shomers. I'm interested in whoever Iowa throws out. I like Hunter Willits from Oregon State.
Yes.
Who I didn't think he had a bad year at all. What's interesting to me too in Tier 6 is listen to these guys were like upper level, upper echelon recruits in Tier 6. It's like I don't want to say a graveyard, but there's all these like
Yeah.
top 5 guys.
Griffin?
Perriott.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them are young. Griffin Perriott's only going to be a
Sophomore.
Quentin Hovis is a guy that was ranked #1 in the country at one time.
Just probably a bad ranking.
What did he? Well, he beat David Carr.
I'm kidding. It was a perfectly earned ranking.
Quentin Hovis was 18-6 last year.
Jake Danishek, Freddie Stroker.
So, are we? What was Quentin Hovis' year like? 18-6. I'm really interested in him.
He had losses to like Cam Coy and Eric Hong last year, so not.
There's two others.
There's two other good ones.
Yep.
These guys, listen to the guys that are top. They were top 5 ranked in high school.
Coy was ranked #1 at one point.
Yeah. Griffin Perriott, Quentin Hovis, Jake Danishek, Freddie Stroker, Eric Hong, Cam Coy. They're all in tier 6 here.
Dewey Kruger.
Dewey Kruger was not.
Watch, he's gonna probably.
I feel like Jake Tucker had a good year. But
Jake Tucker might have been up there too.
he went 20-18 as a freshman, redshirt freshman.
How about the ACC at this weight? Because I like Taylor Bromani a lot. Every time I watch him, I'm like,
He gives
this
dudes
kid's-
problems every single time.
Yeah.
He's insanely good on his feet. He's really freaking slick. Another guy kind of puts it together. But the ACC is only, it's Hayden, Makai Lewis,
Decent.
Kennedy Monday,
Decent.
who's UVA is probably going to be the only one that doesn't have. No, they have Cam Coy, Taylor Bromani, and
That weight is nailed.
there's another one. Mitch Finesilver.
Yeah. He's he famously beat like 6 All-Americans going into this year or something like that.
Yeah. So that's only
So
good.
both Brody
Literally,
Brothers.
ACC is sending everyone at that way as long as they all wrestle full seasons. Like that is insane. I love the ACC, as you guys may or may not know.
I like how Iowa and Lehigh are going to have at least 2 national qualifying level guys. And that means whoever is going to win that battle internally is going to have a really good shot because, you know, it's just a deeper talent pool within each team to go with. So whoever emerges, I think, has some chances.
I feel like Lehigh every year could send 14 to 15 guys
In
to
the middleweights
NCAAs.
especially. Yeah.
They just, man,
Crazy deep.
They get all guys to a certain level, pretty much. Love what they're doing. So that's 157. You know, it stinks. It's a little Zanish with someone as good as Nolf, who was like hurt and smashed his way through NCAAs. It's got to be a little deflating, but still going to be a fun weight because I think even though Hayden certainly cemented himself as the clear #2 guy, I think you can at least hypothesize that guys can compete with him and maybe make that finals, that spot opposite Nolf, somewhat interesting. Any other closing thoughts on 157 pounds?
No.
Okay.
I think you nailed it.
Good. Thank you to Nomad for doing this.
All the way from Balmer, Maryland.
All the way. County.
Still grinding.
Baltimore County.
Balmer County.
Okay, so let's get to some questions from our friends. What college programs would Flo like to visit next summer like they did this year? That's a great question because I love to think back to the times when we were just the boys on the road going to cool college wrestling teams. Where would we like to go? Well, I would love to get back home. I'd love to go hit the ODU, UVA, Virginia Tech, hit George Mason, catch up with Beasley. That'd be a great little circle there, all within a couple hours of each other.
We could go back to where I used to live, right next to Fairfax County in Arlington.
We could definitely go to that apartment and just like see what's up and just
Yeah, hang out.
Pour some out.
Yep. That's where I would like to go. This would not be super possible with a road trip because it's not near much, but I want to go to Wyoming. I want to go to Laramie. I can't imagine how beautiful that place is in the summer. That would be awesome. But,
What, Laramie?
Yeah. What?
Willie's skeptical. Willie's not down with
I
that.
live there.
Yeah, I know. We're not taking you.
You refuse to go on road trips with us.
Yeah,
so.
you're out on friendship. You left us, and you're
true.
like, no, yes,
You
no,
could have ridden in the van with us.
You chose not to.
You could have at least gone to Lockhaven with us.
Yeah, don't. You're a fraud. You didn't want to. Don't act like you want to. You totally could have, and you didn't. Those are the facts. They are undeniable. And stop.
That's not true.
No,
It's not true. You told me I couldn't go because of budgetary issues.
that is 100% lie.
Yeah,
Everyone knows it's a
that's a
lie,
lie.
and you're a liar. Now you're forever a liar. I hope you're happy. Okay.
Yeah.
Any
I know.
others? You guys throw
I
out
am lying.
schools.
I think you left out the closest school to your old home,
Washington and Lee.
Washington and Lee. Yeah, we want to. I could show you guys
And VMI.
Lexington, but VMI, yeah, next door neighbors. I like all the SoCon schools, so that would include VMI. But all the guys in North Carolina, App State. We go to Chattanooga for Southern Scuffle, but App State's
pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never been there. I do want to go.
Boone, North Carolina.
Love a good mountain town.
Yeah,
Can't beat it.
no Appalachians, and then the West Coast. I mean,
Louis
obviously,
Creek.
Willie, where do you want to go?
do I
Lehigh?
wanna go?
Willie wants to go Lehigh.
Where do I want to go on a road trip? Is that the question?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Willie.
Lafayette.
Wake
maybe?
up, buddy.
Oh, I'm confirmed.
Yeah,
Where
that's
do
the
wanna go?
question.
I want to do Cali stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right.
Stanford and
I
Fresno.
guess he's not gonna say anything.
Nailed it.
So we're looking for the school, not the state, but that's fine. Nathan Wynn, who's someone you would have liked to see on the senior level either longer or who didn't wrestle at all? My number one is someone we mentioned. He didn't lift many weights, but he lifted some weights. Ben Askren. Would have loved to see him go against Burroughs, cumulative scoring. Don't think he beats Burroughs. I think Burroughs is like the archetype to give him trouble, but Ben Askren's the innovator, and I think it would have been really freaking awesome if he had just said, no, I'm going to wrestle throughout 74, etc. So, yeah, he's one. He's definitely one for me. We obviously mentioned Kale. His candle burned out long before his legend ever did. As Willie, maybe my favorite line in FRL history from Willie.
I was disappointed that John Reeder was hinting at a comeback recently, but injuries and I think a shoulder kept him from actually wrestling. But I thought it would have been cool to see him back in there. He's always fun.
I was kind of always on this guy's train, and you may laugh, but I thought he could have done well at freestyle. I wanted to see Jamal Parks like really dedicate himself to freestyle. Stop, man. He's one of those guys. I was always like, this dude is really, really good. If he can put it all together, and he DMP'd.
I'm laughing at you, laughing at yourself.
Well,
You set yourself up. You played yourself.
A little bit.
How about Stephen Neal?
Yeah.
Um,
But at least he won worlds and stuff.
yeah.
But it was really only like a year or so.
Yeah, he didn't do it that
He
long.
just showed up, dominated, and was like, all right, I'm going to go make money in the
Along
NFL.
those lines, I would have liked to have seen Cejudo stick
Oh
around.
my gosh. Yeah, Cejudo's the obvious one. How did I not think of that? Yeah, what happens to him after the Olympics? I mean,
What if he didn't win? And that would probably have kept him in longer.
yeah.
I mean, you take the gold medal as a fan.
You think
but-
he quit wrestling in 2008 basically.
Yeah.
You can say he kind of came back, but those were just flirtations. No actual
And
commitment.
he looked really good. I thought if like he trained like a little bit, he would have won the trial.
He was wrestling at like Grandview when he did his like 2012 comeback. Like,
And when he did his 2012 comeback, I heard a lot of like not good things. Like he wasn't fully invested. He wasn't doing
No.
the right thing. Right?
Yeah.
So Matt and then he went to the trials and he looked pretty freaking good.
well, he was
looked
right
like
there with Simmons.
He looked really good, and I'm like, man, if the stories are true that he didn't totally dedicate himself to this process, imagine if he did, because he'd be world class.
Yeah. So he's definitely one. And plus, you just think about what that weight was for us. We hadn't medaled. I mean, we medaled last year, but literally from him to Gilman last year, it was just nothing. It was just this Henry Cejudo-shaped void that.
Really? I didn't even realize it.
I think that's true.
Yeah,
Angel got fifth,
fifth.
but that was it. Like Obi never placed, Danny Felix,
Hayes
never placed, all those
Yeah.
guys. So it would have been awesome to have him around. He's the ultimate what if. And I think cumulative scoring would have benefited him as well. You know, he was just coming into his, So definitely disappointing. And think about it, he quits in like 2008. It takes him like 10 years to really reach the pinnacle in another sport.
What about Ed?
Yeah, I would have liked to seen it, but I don't know if we missed a transcendent guy or not.
I don't think we ever saw Ed at his freestyle maximum potential.
For sure, not his maximum.
Right.
And it's, we'll wait to see how his MMA career progresses. He definitely, I don't know, it's tough to tell from the few fights he's had and the training videos that you see, but he could be more focused now. He could be actually, that it's more of a career, that there's a more financial rewards involved. So I don't know.
He's definitely one. I think 86 is, I think he's a little small for that, especially on day before weigh-ins.
Well, he's making like 54 kilos now or something.
he's on the Caldwell thing.
Ed Ruth could have gotten down to 79 kilos.
Oh my gosh.
He would just be tearing people to shreds.
You know what? Yeah.
Him versus Dake.
How about
Ruth versus Dake is just.
Can you imagine that at Final X, Dake versus Ed? Oh my god.
Oh,
jeez. Now I want to cry.
Now I do.
now I'm sad, Willie.
Cancel the show.
This is a good one from JB Colat. Which FRL host kid will have the most prolific wrestling career? Well, I'm the only one with a child, so me.
Money is on Caleb.
Caleb and Natalie, honestly.
Yeah.
So far, prove me wrong. It's about to lie.
Can't argue with that.
Hey, KB, when are you gonna have children?
I don't know.
Ooh, on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Wow.
My ass is in the jackpot right now.
Yeah. give it time.
If you're wondering at home, we are not letting Nomad procreate. So
We're doing whatever we can. Although I'm sure. Never mind. Never mind. Strike that from the record.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot of directions.
Strike it. Early FRL question. What coach would you, it's not early now, but yeah. What coach would you like to see come out of retirement for at least one season? And what team would they lead? Must have retired 5+ years ago. This is the easiest answer ever.
Yeah, it's Gable.
Dan Gable.
listen, guys. I love the questions. Some of your questions are getting quite complicated.
Everything is so hypothetical with the questions now.
It's August.
It's August.
You got to dig deep into the mind.
I'm here for it.
They have to retired 5 years ago. They must eat. They use skim milk on their cereal, and they can only coach in the ACC.
And gluten intolerant.
Right.
I guess it's Gable. There's not many coaches I'm like, man, I wish he would keep coaching.
Yeah.
Who other than Gable? Joe C?
No.
It's a joke.
Yeah, normally like
Really like that one.
Bobby Douglas.
When you think of great coaches, they almost always either retire, get to the end of the line, because coaching obviously you do a lot more than it's easier on your body than competing. So
well, Gable's one of the big what ifs, right? I mean, the guy retired I think before he was 50, right? Like very young.
That's insane.
yeah.
Imagine if he's 10 more years. J-Rod. I wish J-Rod was still out here. He ain't been gone 5 years, but
He does not. Yep, doesn't meet.
doesn't meet the criteria.
Oh yeah,
Crap.
disqualified.
Get free J-Rob.
I can't think of any.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Gable. Other than Gable.
Yeah.
I think this guy just wanted us to say Dan Gable.
Yeah.
Will, you win, Will. I don't know if we want to do that one.
Nope.
What would you do to find success if you were coaching a smaller D1 team with only 5 full schollies? Example, the Tim Flynn approach.
Well, he's got full schollies now, right?
Well, yeah. He means Edinburgh. You know that. I don't know. Dang. If I knew that, I'd probably be coaching D1.
What would you do to find success if you were coaching a smaller D1 team with 5?
You know what I would do? Here's what I would do. I would hire the fathers of the best wrestlers in the country to work for like the RTC, and then then their kid would come.
Here's what I would do.
The Lake Erie.
Beat that
I would
idea.
get,
hire Kyle Brackey.
obviously, but because then I would sign Mitchell Port, AJ Shop, and David Habit.
That's it?
That's it. That's my key to success.
So it sounds to me like he's asking what are the Moneyball approaches, not Moneyball like you have to go into stats or whatever you think. Moneyball to me means using the limited resources and turning them into your advantage and figuring out ways to get more with less.
I mean, really, it's not a mystery what Tim Flynn did. He just did it better than everybody other guys in his situation could do. I mean, he recruited well, and he coached those guys up. I mean, Mitchell Port was a serious recruit.
Yes.
AJ Shop, a very good recruit. I mean, highly
State
ranked.
champion.
Not highly ranked, but mid-tier. Like, so Mitchell Port, upper echelon guy. Shop and Habit were like mid-tier guys. So you talk about identifying them, getting them, and developing them.
And remember, they had De Palma there too. He
Yeah.
transferred out.
And you know they've done a good job of looking at they've gotten guys from New England off it.
Vic Avery.
Yeah. I think you got to figure out a way to sell your school, which is easier said than done. But when we were touring with Lockhaven, that Willie, you decided not to join us on. But we got, it's a small campus. It doesn't have a big name. It's Division II and other stuff. So you think, how do you get someone to come here? And then they brought us up to the top of this mountain, and they showed us a lot of the cool stuff that you still have in there. And you go, oh yeah, this would be great. I mean, it's the summertime too. That helped, but you have to figure out a way to present your school in its most, in its best light.
Here's what I would do. I would go to the recruiting epicenter of Dagestan and start poaching those guys. I would just get a bunch of Galagayevs. We ran that Galagayev video. Kyle and I were like, why don't more people just go get Russians, bring them over here, and just watch what happens?
How did they get him anyway?
Cormier. It even said that on his Oklahoma State athletic page.
He was over there training.
He
He's
became
like,
friends
awesome.
with Daniel Cormier.
So Daniel was like, hey, why don't you go to school over here? And he was like, okay, I do.
Yeah.
Yes. He's like, you'll go 197. It'll be awesome.
I want to talk about him for a second because
my favorite heavy ever.
His junior year when he got hurt,
he was have a field day with that.
He was 24-0 before he got hurt and had to miss the rest of the year. But to that point in the year, he had majored the eventual champion Tony Nelson. He'd majored Bobby Telford, and he teched a freshman Nick Wisdowski, which ended up All-American placing that year.
Unbelievable.
20-2. The most interesting thing about Z, there was a lot. Like, he threw everybody. He had all this crazy stuff. He was amazing on top. He was like tilting guys at a really high level. Like, it's pretty rare that you see someone just come over and be like that good on the mat in general, but like to tilt heavyweights, which like most heavyweights can't even do. Now, he wasn't a prototypical heavyweight, obviously, but
he's also not growing up learning top wrestling.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
There's zero of that going on, zero tilts.
There's guys that have
Russia.
been taught tilts their entire careers. They can't hit tilts, and he just learned it and did it.
So it says prior to OSU, he trained under Russian wrestling legend Buvasar Satiev in Krasnoyarsk.
Oh, the Kraz school.
For 5 years.
It's weird that Buvasar Satiev.
Yeah.
Satiev is.
Satiev was really good with bars on top.
His bars, his tight waist.
He
Great
was third
breakdown.
at the 2006 Russian Nationals.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
2006?
Yeah.
He was out here in 2013. Dude, he was 31 probably. He definitely had maybe some old man strength, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's weird that Satiev was out in Krasnoyarsk. That's in Siberia, way, way, way to the west.
Nowhere near.
And he's from Dagestan/Chechnya, which is way in the south, in the east. Oh no, southwest. The far east is where Siberia is. Anyway, you look at a map; it's like like ridiculously far apart. Where like the U.S. is only like half as wide.
Yeah,
as Russia.
it's like Virginia to Hawaii, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia's big, turns out.
Big place.
So yeah, I would get more Russians. I don't know why you can't get more Russians. If I were a coach, I would at least try to get one, right? Get American education. They got Z up to speed. Why couldn't they?
And Z's apparently crushing it like in Wall
he's
Street or
Wall
something.
Street. They're smart.
I would use that too as an example to be like, you want to look at his success. Look at this.
He
dude's killing
said,
it.
so we said, like in the copy of the video, we miss, Alan Galagayev, and he commented back on Instagram and said he missed us too.
Aw.
That warms my heart.
Print that out and frame it.
Print it. Okay. So let's get more Russians. It'll be awesome. All right. If you see one you would like to ask, please feel free to jump in. After this upcoming season, when Nolf and Nickel graduate, Who would you say is the favorite to win the following year? And if it's PSU, who would you say could contend for a title? Well, I think they lose Nolf and Nickel and Neville's for what that's worth. We'll see. Kassar could supplant him coming into this year, but still a guy. I think it is going to be. I think Iowa is going to be potentially the team to beat there. Now, it's a lot of it is hinging on how good do these guys, these PSU recruits, turn out. If they continue the trend of panning out at a high level for Penn State, then they're probably going to be the team to beat again. They're going to be good at all 10 weights next year, no matter who they roll out. But if Gavin RBY, if there's issues there, if Bergey's not what I think he's going to be, which is really good, if Joe Lee maybe struggles, it's going to be tough. If Beard is not the man, right, then it'll be hard, right? And they might not be able to win.
I think Aaron Brooks is going to do crazy things. I mean, he might have another extra year before he actually starts, but he's another guy that...
Brooks is someone I'm penciling in transcendent success.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is going to win multiple national titles. I just feel very confident. I don't feel...
I mean, as good as Penn State has been, and they've been amazing, there was, several times where they won by the skin of their teeth. So... I think they can be as good as they've been and still take second some years and third some years. But I do think they probably, like, let's just say Joe Lee doesn't turn out, or
he's not Chenzo.
Right. Joe Lee's not Vincenzo Jones.
Literally, that's what is like supposed to. That's like kind of the trajectory.
Right. So let's say, Penn State they're always going to be top three. It's just always going to happen.
If they get Kirkland, it's
because
if they,
the thing is, if Penn State misses on some guys, or you know what hasn't happened, Penn State hasn't gone to the NCAA tournament and had their number one seed take sixth. That happens to other teams. It hasn't happened to Penn State.
Yeah.
Which is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
To think of all the top seeds that they've had over the last 8 years, and at no time did anyone stub their toe.
Yeah.
It's insane. So that's it is gonna happen at some point. But Penn State's always gonna be top three, because if Uber recruit X doesn't work out at 165, Uber recruit Z is going. They're just going to replace him with somebody.
Yeah.
They're going to get Z. Guy's back.
Come back.
Also, according to Oklahoma State's athletic page, when he was born, he would have been 27 his last NCAA tournament.
It's younger than Tanner Hall, I think. I'm not saying that to make a joke. I think that's factually
It's not
true
absurd.
thing. No, 27. That's okay. It's Russian years. Maybe he's 32. He's no problem. This is no problem.
Yeah, count Russian years.
Yeah. There's a little different math you need to do with
he
guys.
Makes age.
He makes age.
Yeah.
He makes age very well. 197. He did not make very well. Very hard. Prediction on how many times Wrestling Nomad showers on vacation. Don't know if he's a big shower guy now. I could see him just annoyingly bathing, taking baths.
Oh, he'll be like, I don't trust shower heads in the state or something. The water pressure's no good, so I'm going all baths.
Yes, something like that. I could see him doing that. So
Willie agrees.
I'm gonna go off topic or off the board and say 0 showers and 2 baths.
I think 4 baths, 1 shower, and a sponge bath.
What is the NCAA match that was most anticipated but never ended up happening? Or guys in the same NCAA bracket that we wish would have ended up wrestling in hindsight?
Great question.
Oh, that requires so much research.
Yeah, I know. So you just kind of have to have it kind of in your mind, I guess. Perry Askren never happened. Would have liked to see that one. Even though I think we kind of know how it would probably go.
What, were they in the same bracket?
I think one year they were both at 74. Remember, Perry was a 74 his true freshman year no, maybe not. That could be untrue.
Yeah, what were some, listen, I can't answer this question because I can't, I have to go through brackets to be like, yep, that was a thing.
The same, right? Yeah.
But listen, it would be awesome to come up with the best match, most anticipated matchups that never happened. Go through the brackets. I can't answer this because I can't do it off the top of my head. Do you have any? I mean, was it Nickerson and Escobedo that were supposed to hit one year and then the freshmen spoiled the party?
Well, they did hit. They wrestled.
But they were back at the next. They were both in the same bracket the next year, right?
It was that year. When Andrew Long and McDonough made the finals, Nickerson and Escobedo wrestled for third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perry and Askren were in the same bracket, but Perry lost to Herbert in the semis.
Got it. So that would have been a fun one.
Oh my gosh, Ben Askren beat Jake Herbert 14-2.
That was unbelievable. I remember I worked at a hotel front desk, and I was watching that, and it was when I first was like becoming a huge fan of wrestling, and I was like, who is this guy? He just smashed this undefeated dude that looks like Captain America. That was an awesome match. Okay. Northern Colorado's recruited very well. How do you see them this year and in the future? How long till Nixon's looked at for other jobs? So yeah, Troy Nixon been doing an outstanding job, recruiting well. They're getting Alirez.
That guy's awesome.
Rumors swirling about Therius Robeson. We'll see. That's one of my favorite dudes. If they get him, that'd be awesome. When he starts getting looked at for other jobs, it'll probably happen in the next couple of years. I would imagine he'll start getting some guys on the podium. That always helps. That's what helped Chris Bono, right? It's like, yeah, you do a good job, you build a program, but once you start getting guys that win NCAAs and are placing, and you have a couple out of nowhere All-Americans, that's when people really. That's what elevated Pat Pop. It's like Binghamton is like, how is this happening, right? And then he's at NC State, and if he can, he's like right on the bubble there, where once he starts getting one or two All-Americans, then people start taking notes. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help or hurt Troy that he's a NWCA guy, and Mike Moyer uses his influence to get guys jobs, and he's done that consistently. Sometimes to the detriment of the program, i.e. Bloomsburg, when he tabbed the clearly wrong choice. So that's certainly going to help him as well.
And I've said it several times. I mean, we've talked about it. Colorado has some good talent coming up. So if he can recruit well in his own state, which he can and will, they can have like surprisingly good success. I mean, for Northern Colorado historically.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for sure his trajectory's high. Okay.
Can we tell the Wisconsin football story?
Oh yeah. So Colby, our guy Colby Paxton at Flow Football.
Check him out at Flow Football.
He's the man. He actually is the one brave soul that sits with our wrestling team. Willie doesn't even do that. Willie literally left the entire state.
Willie sits further from the
He
wrestling
literally
team
sits in
than
a different
anybody.
time zone.
He won't even sit in the same time zone.
No one sits further away from the wrestling crew, technically, than Willie Saylor.
We're closer to like the product people than Willie.
Hey,
so I want
Colby is the man.
He is the man, and he would never leave his friends for Easton.
Probably not. I don't think you'll see Colby go to Easton.
I know. That's why I said it. He would not do it. So anyways, we were at Wisconsin. I think we've told this story, but it's worth repeating again. So Wisconsin's really good this year at football. They're kind of good every single year.
They've
They're
gone to a few Rose Bowls.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of Camp Randall, which is the Wisconsin football stadium. And we're kind of like, we're playing spike ball on the 50-yard line. And some security dude comes up and is like, you can't really be here. And Bono kind of like talks us out of it, and we get to stay a little bit longer. And Bader's like, Wisconsin, they even good at football? And we're like,
being dead serious.
We're in their 90,000 person stadium.
And there's like all these Rose Bowl and Big Ten titles, and like it's very clear this is a football like school, right?
Yeah, they have a good wrestling team, but you're gonna know Wisconsin football.
It made it worse too. You know that last year they went 12-1, and won the Orange Bowl, and are gonna start the year ranked in the top 5.
Yeah.
But how about just we walked through like their tunnel with all of like the jerseys of the guys that are in the NFL and all the crazy trophies, and their weight room is the size of a palace.
We walked by Ron Dane's Eisman Trophy, like
all this stuff
sitting on the 50-yard line. There's 90,000 seats. Those people they don't build it just to have an empty stadium.
He like legit thought he was burning them too.
He's like,
am I right? And we're like, no, you're wrong.
You're amazing. They're like one of the best programs in college football.
That's why Bader's great, though, because he's
Bader's not a sports guy, really.
No, he's a wrestling guy.
which makes it so great that he could be that into wrestling and not football or anything.
And then like we like yell at him. He's like, whatever. I don't even care.
It was amazing. But
Yeah.
then what made it even better is then we were in the Barry Alvarez's like office, literally right outside his office.
College football royalty.
Yeah, Bader wasn't there, but I got to I put the camera on while we were waiting to be ushered into the big man's office, and just asked if you guys remember that, and he did. And then we also caught Nomad creeping in the background. So
That
was
was
a good
weird
clip.
too.
Quick Flow football plug, if you don't mind.
Love it.
College football's back this weekend. There's like 4 games, and one of them is on Flow Football. UMass and Duquesne. So
But you already knew that.
all you Flow or football fans, you want to catch some college football, your Flow Wrestling subscription works on Flow Football.
Your money is good there.
Flow Pro guys.
UMass, Duquesne, 4:30 Central. There we go.
Oh, and then Colby jumped in to Twitter, and that's why we brought it up again, or I brought it, because that was one of the questions for FRL is Wisconsin even good at football? Colby asked that jokingly because he knows that
He got a Wisconsin helmet.
Yeah, I know.
They sent it to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
They didn't give us any helmets. Come on, Bono.
Wait, Wisconsin sent who a helmet?
Colby.
For like to put up like when we shoot the podcast.
Wisconsin?
Yes.
Yeah.
awesome.
Flow football, watch out.
He told all his friends that. Okay. Let's see. Find another question here, friends.
Yeah, right. Colby loves me.
I know. He's your buddy. This is something. Was I looking at this with you? Does any team ever catch Iowa's 170-point record? PSU has been as dominant as anyone, hasn't come close.
I think Nomad.
It was
probably-
Nomad.
Oh, it was Nomad.
Yeah, he loves to.
But he was sitting next to you.
We all sit.
Well, yeah, but
It's a
he was
kid.
sitting next to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking about, like, basically looking at, like, the top, like, 10 scores ever.
Yeah, Nomad had. He's got.
I don't know
pulls
if
that
Penn
up.
State has one that's been in the top
They're like their highest one's like 8th. I'm trying
8,
to
which is crazy to think about. And it makes me kind of think maybe not, because I'm going out on a limb and just saying, obviously I don't know the ins and outs of the how tough it was in 1997, but I think there's just more good wrestlers now, right? And it's just, you can't do that. I mean, they're gonna have 5. They could have Penn State could have had 6 champs last year. They wouldn't have.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have broken the record.
I think the transfer rule also is going to make that tougher.
Yep.
You
Good
know,
point.
guys are going to move and get more points or create, rival teams. Like a guy like McKenna can just go over to Ohio State. He did that before the transfer move, but you'll see stuff like that.
And it makes, I do think that Penn State 1 year, or I think this will fall. Someone will get 6 NCAA champs at some point. I think it would make the most sense to say it'll be Penn State at some point. But I think that will fall 6 champs before 170 points.
their highest scoring team right now, 2017, 146.5 points, is 11th all time.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
And that's like adjusted scores. It's not like, and actually I guess the points are easier to come by than they were in the past. So pretty crazy, as amazing as they've been, that their teams technically are not.
Oh, also the qualifying was different. That was when you still qualified based on how your conference did the year before or something. If you look at
Why did they do that?
if you look at the number of pins in every NCAA tournament, the number of pins
That
go
is
down after they change the qualification, because it basically meant guys that were not top 33 were qualifying in the old system and getting pinned,
Is that what
twice
it
or
was?
whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but then once they made the qualifying process a little more accurate to reflect trying to get basically the top 33 plus, so the only automatic qualifier that a guy might not as deserved as much would be like if a conference gets their 1 and nobody
you
in
guys-
that conference is that good. So that
guys
brought
get,
the parity
you guys-
level up and it brought the number of pins down. So that's less points
You guys
on the
get
table.
7 qualifiers this year. Well, 3 of them graduated. Oh, F it. We're running with it.
Yeah,
Just go with it, guys.
Also,
keeping it going.
just to clarify real quick, so they're 11th all time when you adjust the scores of Iowa's and Oklahoma State's teams to the scoring
Now.
process now. But if you look at it just straight up points, 2017 they would be the 8th highest scoring
Okay.
team.
So
but
eighth.
there's still a long ways to
Yes.
go.
That's unreal. Because, those are some of the best teams that have ever done it. And you think about what Willie mentioned earlier, they've had some close calls. 2013 was close. Alan Galagayev, the aforementioned, if he doesn't try to jump over Tony Nelson and he makes the finals, Oklahoma State wins. 2014, Oklahoma State and Minnesota were right there to win it.
The Dardanes brothers.
The Dardanes brothers
Not
placing killed them. And then last year comes down to that. So it's amazing they've
Miles
been.
and Bo.
And I think that actually typifies our point that just like the country is better at wrestling. The teams, there's more really good teams. And it just makes it harder, even though we believe those teams are probably better than some of the ones that have scored more points. It's just like, it's just how you're compared to the field, right? So really interesting stuff. Any other questions before we depart, dear friends?
There's one that's a heat map, so very near and dear to my heart. This was going to be hard to do, but Penn State's roster before Kale to see where in-state athletes were going. Matt Gingo. That's a good question. I think I can take their qualifiers at least and map them and just do it the pre-Kale years.
Penn State used to have much more of their roster was from Long Island and New Jersey.
That, I mean, I think before even very recent history, but Jersey guys were going everywhere. Rutgers was not a D1 competitive school. Princeton was even
West
worse.
Virginia, just in general, gets a ton of New Jersey people.
Yeah, it's just
kind of always has.
Yeah, even just regular students. Yeah, big draw.
Yeah, well, and we talked about it before. Penn State, Kale said he's one of the things was Pennsylvania talent, but he's definitely going to go after the best nationally, and just the composition of the big boards the last few years is that he's gone after a lot of out-of-state talent.
For sure.
It hasn't been a lot of PA guys.
But that clearly the secret sauce. It's you have to be a guy like Kale to do it, and you have to have a state like Pennsylvania, and you have to be the big state school in Pennsylvania. But if you can get some of the top Pennsylvania guys, not every guy, but most of them, and then cherry pick some of the best in the country, that's the ticket.
I've said for years, if you're the best coach at the best school in the best wrestling state, you are going to do well at.
Yeah, just replicate that. I don't know.
Yeah.
More coaches should do that.
Why don't other people follow the Kale model of going to the best state in the best school and being the best coach? That would be genius. On that note, LJ, feel free to please play our outro music.
Nomad's alive, by the way.
Nomad confirmed?
Yeah, he chatted me.
Wow. What'd he
right.
say?
So he's listening.
Thanks. Hey, shout out to the Wrestling Nomad.
Nomad, I'm keeping your seat warm. Thanks, dude.
Yes.
Get back safe.
Thank you to Andrew Spey for hopping in our Wrestling Nomad shaped hole. Thank you, Kyle Brackey, Willie Saylor. Thank you to you. Thank you to ASICS for your support of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. We will be back next Tuesday. Come heck or high water. Willie, can you commit to Tuesday?
I can. Hey, what shirt are you wearing?
This is Corrosion of Conformity. Thanks for pointing that out. I saw them at Emo's in Austin. They rock.
Space got a dark side, boys and girls.
Dark side.
He's the bad boy.
Corrosion of Conformity is not that heavy.
Oh, they're so heavy. I mean, they're called.
He's the numbers guy with the dark side.
Oh, yeah.
Pepper Keenan,
I love it.
guitarist.
All right. Thanks a lot.
right.
We'll be back Tuesday. See you next time. Have a nice weekend.